Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the Aries Full Moon that's happening on October 1st, 2nd, 2020. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this Aries Full Moon is a culmination of energy. We have so much Aries going on with Mars retrograde in its home sign of Aries, Chiron in Aries, and this full moon happens not too far away from Chiron in Aries, really bringing to the surface, especially for the SuperNova Soul, everywhere where you haven't been able to be who you really are. The sun opposing this, of course, the full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite, and that, the reflection. It's a culmination energy, and it's kind of like a peak energy of 2020. So incredibly powerful. It's our opportunity to understand, to give ourselves permission to feel worthy, to take back our raw, true power. The deal is that this whole evolution has been about tricking us into thinking that we're powerless, giving our power away to false authorities. These energies that have been controlling humanity since Atlantean time are actually lower dimensional from where you came from as a supernova soul. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to give our power away to these forces, and yet we've done it. So this is interesting because for this full moon, we'll be feeling an exact square of Mars in retrograde in square to Saturn having just turned direct. So Saturn turning direct is moving the energy forward into the Aquarian age. It's really the very beginning of this new age, because at the end of 2020, the completion of 2020 energy is when Jupiter and Saturn move together into the sign of Aquarius, marking the beginning of the new age. There's a very potent total solar eclipse right there in mid-December at that same time, and it's really stepping over a threshold into a whole new world. And are you ready for that? So this Mars retrograde has been about, for the supernova soul, preparing and readjusting, calibrating to these new energies, understanding that who you are in your bigger self, your more true self, is the path forward for that is probably different than the way you thought you were going and what you thought you were doing. And this is this kind of confusing energy of the sun opposing Chiron leading up to this full moon. And the sun is, who do we think we are? The sun in Aries, Libra, across from Chiron in Aries. And it's saying, okay, because Libra wants to make it all good for everybody and has a tendency to accommodate or compensate who they are to make other people feel happy and keep the peace. Aries, not so much. It's about the fire within. It's about zest for life. It's about life force and creative power. So it's coming up huge with this Chiron activation, especially for the supernova soul, everywhere for lifetime after lifetime where you've played small and you pretended you weren't a powerful star being. And it's game over for that. And time to take this raw power back. Now, because you've been playing small, because you've been forced into this survival mode, because the energy of Aries is about survival. It's core energy, root chakra. And so you've had to, for survival, to compensate who you are, to make other people feel comfortable, to stay alive on the planet. And this can't go on anymore in our new age. So we got to find a new direction, a new way forward. And that's what this Mars retrograde is about. So intense culmination of these energies and this raw power, this life force we've been leaking out to the people around us. That's an example, is this narcissist empath relationship, the feeders are feeding on you. And it's like, well, that's messed up. Why have we been doing that? But if you've been programmed to fear your power, which is, when you've been this whole kind of trying to stay alive thing in your true star power on the earth, a good way to kind of handle your power, if you've been programmed to think that you can't handle it, is to leak it out to the people around you. So that's that pattern. And we've all been, you know, it's kind of a path of the SuperNova Soul to recognize where you've been feeding lower energies through the people around you and the lower matrix. And then it's like, but can you handle that? Can you really handle this raw power? So it's interesting because it's just this perfect combination of intensity. Because Mars is an exact square to Saturn. Saturn is the rules, laws, limitations, the authority energies at home in Capricorn there. And so it's all the places where we've given our power away contractually through lifetimes, you know. And this is something I see in individual sessions. It's like oftentimes you'll go to this place where you find an authority contract from a past life, and you'll see like a chain or, you know, some energy that kind of shows, oh, you did this again and again and again, gave your power away. And right now it's time to take it back. And so Mars rules the physical body. It rules the root chakra. It rules existence, and it rules primal energies of fight or flight, you know, our feeling of fundamental safety and security on the planet. And, you know, understand that this is getting challenged right now because you've been told lifetime after lifetime that you can't be safe on Earth if you own your power, except we're running out of options, right? And we need this creative power to be co-creators of this new world, of this new Earth. And this is bringing up a lot of just intensity and confusion for the SuperNova Soul, because that sun opposite Chiron is like, but I don't know who I am. Yeah, I want to be who I am. But who you are has been so deeply hidden under these stories and contracts from your whole Earth evolution. You know, you understand that why this life is so intense for you is because you're undoing all these other lifetimes where you gave your power away. And then, okay, so you gave it away because you're programmed to fear it because you were in life and death situations. And now you have to just drop all that and come into your power, right? So there's kind of visceral energies coming up. No, it's from the past, because the whole world, like this whole drama that's playing out in front of us, is showing us that the lower matrix, the control energies, are losing power. And so we have got to claim it back. We don't want this power out there just floating around. We've got to claim it back. We got to learn to contain our energy and own it. Now, it's interesting because this full moon is in an exact semi-sextile. This is a minor transit. We've got all this other stuff going on, but it seems to be really important because it's at 9 degrees. Uranus is at 9 degrees Taurus. This full moon is at 9 degrees Aries. So one sign apart, semi-sextile, it's bringing up this energy of like, do you deserve it? Are you good enough for the, you know, can you handle it? Are you worthy of this power? And so much on the table. And it's powerful because where you've been living lies, you've been kind of just getting along, going through life. Maybe you didn't even know this power that you have is so suppressed. You didn't even know you even had it, but it's causing problems. It makes you sick. The creative power not used, not expressed, makes you sick, you know? And so what's happening is that with Mercury having moved into Scorpio for this full moon, Scorpio wants to get real and face the truth and have real true meaning and passion and experience of actual living and actual life, right? It's also ruled by Mars. And so it's like, we got to get real with this. You know, so it might be that you're having flashes, past life and this life blooming, of the lies, you know, and the delusions. And it's like, ooh, it's never fun, but so freeing. And more than anything, Mars, Aries, wants freedom. And Chiron in Aries is about getting free of where we've given our power away, where we're leaking out our precious, precious gift of this life force that we have worked to hold in our body. So the whole point of this whole evolution and this culmination of the Piscean age and moving into the Aquarian age is about the new age ultimately has to do with the human body being able to hold light, because we are transforming. Our planet is transforming. We are transforming along with our planet into light beings. And so we're learning how to hold this light in our body. That's why you're on the earth though. Like, you already know how to do this. That's like a definition of the supernova soul. You've already gone through spiritual ascension. But it's a lot of why things have been so hard and why it's uncomfortable for you here, why you don't feel like you fit in, and you don't. Stop trying is a big part of the message. And be who you really are. At the same time, though, we've got this big kickback of the programming and the control energies and the authority, and it's playing through. You have to understand that the mind control energies we're dealing with on the planet right now can work through anybody at any time. And you're becoming a rare commodity in your right mind and in your power and your energy, your activation, right? And so the forces around you are going to be, there's a backlash energy, but just understanding this and putting on your armor of light, knowing your light is its own protection. It's interesting because we get this backlash, and that's kind of an energy of like, oh, no, play small, survive, like turn it down. And that's where a lot of the tension and physical symptoms come in right now for the supernova soul. And so it's a weird thing because it's like, no, I want to grow my power. That your power is your own protection too. And so it's really crucial time for us to be really present with our own vibrational field, setting our vibration, being in the cave, in the lodge, wherever your sacred space is, to be able to delineate and then really put on that cloak of light when you go out into the world and know that there's backlash coming and it has nothing to do with you. It's just a play out of the culmination of the Piscean age. And you're the target. You were the target all along. Why? Can you drop the trauma stories of the Piscean age and let it validate who you are in your access to this light, to this power, and what it's going to feel like for you to really hold this light in your cells? It's a totally different way of living. And we're just back and forth between the old and the new right now. You'll have these times of feeling these new energies, the ascension energies coming in, lighter, freer, floating through life, supported. This whole thing of not fitting into this world and playing small is because you don't fit into this world. And the higher vibrational frequencies are here for you to support. They're supportive to you. They're disruptive to souls that have been staying asleep and clinging to the old ship of the old paradigm. It's disruptive, right? This is the big lie that we're dealing with here, is that back in Atlantean time, there was these catastrophes, and it was all set up to bury our ancient history and bury the ancient technology that was beyond what we have. I mean, we have this technology, we're just not told about it now. And to program these very advanced souls that had come to the planet at that time to fear their own power. And that power is somehow destructive. And so we're undoing all of this right now. Because this is the power we need to create this new world and to feel better and to move into these new energies. It's our power, it's our energy, it's our autonomy, so it's, and then there's the question of like, why would you even have access to this higher spiritual vibration, frequency, be able to hold light and have these codes? Why would you have them if you weren't supposed to use them and work with them? So these authority contracts are just, we got to throw them out, right? But it's been a long time. We've been kind of playing by these rules. And that's a Saturn turning direct. It's like, Saturn's kind of like, on the one hand, it's like, yes, we got to do it right. We got to do it by the rules. We got to hold on this physical reality. It's our manifest reality. And then moving into the Aquarian age, though, it's kind of like, oh, but there's something new and different over here. Ooh, but then how do you, work with that? This vibrational energy, how do you build out of vibration? And it's like, oh yeah, no, that's our whole world. We just bought into the fact that what's physical is actually physical. Science has proven it to us, So wow, what an intense time. Right the day after this full moon, Venus moves into Virgo. That's a shift of energy. And Virgo wants to clean up. It's about the exalted, purified feminine. And the high priestess coming back into her rightful place. And this is what's going on right now. It's like, as we claim our God power, the false power structures are being dethroned, and it's not pretty, right? Like, they're not going to give up easy, so we're just in this, like, that timeline war energy. And that's where we have to just really be present with these times, this moment. We are being prepared to shoot off in a new direction. And that's what this Mars retrograde is about. And this Aries full moon, it's bringing forward all the frustrations, all the emotions, all the physical symptoms in our body, because Mars ruling the physical body, that have been suppressed. Okay? And that's a good thing, but it's kind of intense while it's happening, right? But it's like you're throwing off. This is what happens in homeopathy. Any true healing modality, you're going to have a presentation of symptoms as the energy's leaving the body. And that's what's happening on the planet right now. And this is what this Aries full moon is about. It's about an expression of what has been suppressed. And think about how suppressed we are right now. We live in a culture of suppression. And that's an interesting energy with this Aries full moon. Mercury in Scorpio is not playing anymore, so be careful, because you could have your own explosion of emotion. You could have other people exploding on you. You could have the projections are just huge right now, ego projections. And, but it's all about coming to the surface, right? And look at this, like, masking and the voice and the suppression. And it's also like, have you had this where you had to sneeze in public or something, and it's like, oh no, don't sneeze, don't cough, don't, and it's all about suppression of our power and suppression of who we are and suppression of our emotions and so this Aries full moon is about bringing that all to the surface. It's like a zit being popped. It's like kind of gross, but it's really good to get those toxins out. This is a detox time. It's detox on the planet. And if you can, that might be helpful to keep in your consciousness, and to support. It might be helpful for you too, to detox, with Venus moving in to Virgo and this activation of the energies in the body. Are coming up against those old patterns, which might be toxins and things. Physical cleansing of your body could be really supportive through this full moon. But just know that it's all coming to the surface. Not only are we feeling Mars in exact square to Saturn, but it's coming into a square with Pluto. So we're feeling both of those for this full moon. And so that's a very interesting energy, powerful energy, because Mars is like making a bridge between Saturn and Pluto. They're not that far apart, they're 3 degrees apart right now. And so Mars in square to these planets in Aries is saying, okay, the breakdown of the old guard, the breakdown of the old structures. Mars is like, we can't go forward in the same way anymore. We're in the corner. You got to step back. I don't know how to fight in this battle. I don't know how to fight without getting entangled into the octopus tentacle-y like energies of the lower matrix. And it's just such an incredible time. And so just know that like it's an expression. It's a bloom. But it's all about you taking back your power, your energy, your creative force. That's going to make you feel better, right? So after you get through the healing crisis in true healing, where that can happen, just an expression, doesn't have to be a crisis, but expression of symptoms, you feel better. I mean, it's like taking off a layer. A lot of times, like working with, say, like ancestral layers of disease, and you take that off, you feel so free. This is what's trying to happen for us right now. So know that you're also being haunted by generations of garbage, distortions in the lineage, in your lineages. This is also the root chakra stuff and Mars. And so it's like a blooming of dis-ease. That's belief patterns, but also physical disease in your family. And it's all coming to a head because you can't wear that cloak in this new age. Rudolf Steiner talks about like the main point and struggle of the soul, enlightened soul, and working for enlightenment in this realm is about separating your own autonomous spiritual energies from that of your ancestry, right? And stopping to live out those old stories and disease and patterns. And the SuperNova Soul often feels a responsibility to their lineage, like they need to heal the whole lineage. But maybe that's kind of what's happening. But it's really about setting yourself free to take back that power, to get into gear and be ready to leap ahead as this big shift comes at the end of the year. So be super present. Know that there's all kinds of weird stuff blooming, but it's coming to the surface of, what was hidden underneath. And this full moon in Aries is bringing it all up. And for the SuperNova Soul, a lot of, pain, the pain of the Chiron, the wounds, is where you haven't been able to be who you are. And then, of course, we don't know who we are because we've been so suppressed in who we are. And so a lot of frustration feelings of being held back, of being up against the wall, of the people around you, recognizing that they're you thought you had a loving relationship or whatever, and then it turns out that they've been energetically, not them themselves, but the forces working through them, just all about invalidating your truth, and having to look at these delusions and lies with this Mercury going into Scorpio, but they're just blooming. It's so much better when you see the truth. It feels so much better, so we're kind of going through that eye of the needle. Be present, take advantage of it. It's all about preparing you for that new and exciting path that lies ahead. You and your true power, being who you really are. Can't do this playing small and suppression anymore for the SuperNova Soul. And you got to just claim that permission, that going back to that Uranus energy in Taurus, that worthiness for your power, knowing that all those lies of fearing this power are exactly those delusions and lies. Huge bloom, and not that fun to look at initially, but taking off layers of heavy energy out of your life, out of your field. And do you deserve that? And can you handle it? So it's just such an incredible time of a culmination of the Piscean age issues and the control energies, and yet about pushing us into our new direction. And a lot of energy of taking that leap into that better direction that better fits who you are and why you're here, even though you don't really get to know. So hang in there. I hope that you can consider joining me for the full moon in Aries full moon activation. That's going to be leading up to the exact time, just the hour before of this full moon. So very powerful. We can just really get into this energy. And if you can't make it live, know that that energy will be encoded and you can catch the replay and get your messages, get your activation, and take advantage of this crucial moment of 2020 together. So I hope to see you there on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.